Hello, squeakers. Welcome to the next episode of this thing that I'm doing, talking ad nauseam. That's what it's called. Yeah, we're gonna pick up from where we did yesterday, and let's do it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Right here we have Alaina. Alaina, Alaina. What a wonderful girl. And she's telling us about some marshmallows. We love marshmallows. I'm actually not that much of a fan of marshmallows. I like them in s'mores though, so don't kill me. But they're cool. They're yummy. But like, some people can eat marshmallows just raw. Or like, I say raw, but you know, out of the bag. And think they're yummy. Which is Liza. She likes doing that. But like, me, I don't really like that. But I do like s'mores, okay? But here, that's not what we're here for. We're here for a very intelligent and highly intellectual dissertation. I don't know what that word means, but I think I'm using it correctly. You're doing a dissertation of ad nauseam. Let's go. I've spent like a minute already. On your plate, yes, you the viewer, on your plate is a marshmallow. Okay, so I don't know how we're gonna do this. We're gonna go, I think we're gonna go save scum this and get every line of dialogue because some of them might have some interesting stuff. Alright, marshmallow, that's all you had to say. Gulp. Eat it up. You had me at marshmallow. So I don't think there's too much lore. I might cut some of this out, but we're just gonna get a lot of fun, serene personality, right? Right. You had me at marshmallow, I immediately eat it. Alrighty then. Next question. So, here's a fun little detail. We have auto rails that go into different tracks. Now, that kind of makes sense, and I think we can infer that, but getting it from this is nice, you know? So, if we switch the lever, we can ensure that the strangers live while scotching myself. It's a shame true altruism never reaps rewards. Now, altruism is one of the humors that we can get, so I wonder if this would increase that humor. And knowing that I choose something moral is enough of a reward for me. So that's a cute little, like, a cute and very accurate way of describing Tsurine, like, because you can make her do some things that are, you know, different than what another playthrough would do. But at the end of the day, she always does things that are moral, and she has some self-sacrificing qualities, which is nice. She's a very, very sweet girl. We also have the word train being used here to describe the auto rail. I like that. Here's just a little fun fact. Alaina's talking about having pain and you don't have any anodyne. And anodyne is a painkiller, like a pain medication. And I think that's in real life. If not, I think that's some lore that I heard from Liza. But yeah, anodyne means painkiller. That's cool. So after the Alaina quiz, I had a pretty vivid nightmare while under. It almost felt real, and I wasn't even myself in it. So that's interesting that, you know, obviously in real life, people explain having dreams that feel real. Like, oh, this dream I had felt real, but, you know, this isn't real life. This is a narrative. So that might actually be, like, maybe it was a real dream. Was she sent out somewhere? Right? We don't really know how dreams work in ad nauseam in the clinic either. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on regarding dreams in the game so far. We're only like 2 discs in, right? So is like maybe there's some element of the story, some power, some character, or some force that can kind of interact with our dreams. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Tsurine was actually sent to some kind of dream world or dream realm, specifically in this dream. We'll see. And yeah, she, you know, explained it was vivid and it felt real, you know? So it's very interesting. And Alaina's blaming it on the codeine, that there's quirks, and they're to be expected. Hoping it'll prove to be a good alternative for patients who are non-responsive to standard anesthesia. Sounds to me like it needs more testing. Perhaps on people with outdated locum pink. And yeah, we know that Tsurine has outdated locum pink, which is basically a synthetic blood substitute. So within Tsurine's purse, we can see some items here. Of course, we got the body record. This is all Tsurine is really carrying around at this point in the game. We got body record, makeup, materials, and nail polish. Her U-phone, these little headphones, and these are credit cards. And we got a little cat band-aid, of course, of course. The body record, the big green tablet we have, the Sterling green tablet actually, and it has the Sterling stripes, you know, on the outside and within the UI of the device. So we can assume that it's given out to people by Sterling, kind of like in America you have like Social Security and you have your identification, right? It's kind of like that, but you know, in Sanatoria they're fucking baller enough to just give you a whole fucking tablet, which is pretty cool. And it makes sense because their world is a lot more advanced in certain ways compared to ours. Like, they can find technology everywhere. It's abundant. So they can, you know, it's probably more abundant than making, you know, cards, like ID cards out of paper or whatever they're made out of in real life. I know it's not paper, maybe it's like plastic or something. You know what I mean. Anywho, so that's cool. Also, the body record functions as ID in the case of scotch recovery. So you can imagine if someone gets scotched, oh, who is it? You'll have to find their body record. You can turn it on and learn who they are, their implants, and all their stuff, so you can put them back together, reconstruct them, contact family, and you know, get their money from their bank. Good stuff. Again, we have some info about stuffing. Stuffing refers to a wide variety of prosthetic innards with an equally wide variety of uses. Wonderful. And we hold it in our purse if we find any. It seems stuffing's pretty easy. You find some and you can say, hey doc, put this in me. And they'll be like, okay, let's go ahead. Which, you know, seems kind of alien in our world, but it makes sense. So, sharps, we know sharps. Sharps is a term in real life too with medical waste. You can think of like discarded syringes and scrap and plastic and metal, like ripped and torn off, like just a bunch of materials that can be recycled and used into other things, right? But what's interesting here is Yuffie likes to make things out of recycled sharps for her dolls. And then there's one line at the end that says, I don't know how she does it, which to me feels like it's a little bit of, you know, like, hey, you should be this might be a mystery. Maybe Yuffie can make stuff and we're like, how the fuck do you do that? Is Yuffie a magical girl? Maybe. Maybe she's a magical girl. She has magic powers. Yuffie magical girl theory. That's what I'm saying. So, on the body record, we have STRD. I can imply that it means Sterling something, the Sterling department. Or maybe this is Sterling Resource Department. Not sure. If you have any guesses or you know what it is, let me know. Seems like everyone has their own ID. I'm not sure if the ID goes up by one, but, you know, there's at least 89,000 people. That makes sense. Seems like there's a lot, like, we know that for sure, because, with the dialogue and stuff, like, we know there's a lot of people in Sanatoria. We have our humors. There's a lot to go over here, so this is going to be a blast. Am I still recording? Recording, yes. Okay, let's get into it. So yeah, Tsurine 1, that's super interesting. Why are we Tsurine 1? Did we remember this name when we became conscious, and maybe it's not our real name? Maybe we had a different name in the past? But for some reason, because the amnesia's weird, we're like, oh, my name's Tsurine, but we're not actually Tsurine, right? But maybe we've always been Tsurine 1, and it's the only Tsurine ever. And, you know, that's interesting. There's definitely an answer there, and there's definitely a mystery there of why Tsurine is the only Tsurine out there. We don't know her age. We don't know her birth ward. We don't know her partners. Well, she doesn't have any partners. She doesn't have any mothers. Which, this is, I mean, it's interesting. From it, like, that would make sense to be on the body record if you're finding it in the wild, right? You want to know this person's family, and their children, right? So, yeah, but this is crazy to see. Like, imagine you were a crisis nurse and you found this girl and you looked at her body record. She's the only Tsurine, no age, no birth ward, no partners, no mothers, no children, and she's a psi-spec. When you look at it this way, Tsurine is a real oddity, and I'm not saying an oddity like, in the world, like, this is very suspicious, She is like a ghost. Like, she came out of nowhere, no connections, and she's the only one with her name. It's suspicious, And she's a suspect, yeah, and she's taken in to become a pupil by the retainer. Like, this is a very suspicious person. Just imagine if Tsurine wasn't the protagonist and we heard about this girl. Her address is here, Block 11, Room 81, and her phone number, 842204. So she has dissociative fragmental amnesia, lost all of her memories 2 years ago, retained several formed habits and inclinations as a result of her past. Despite hard effort, none of her memories have returned, nor has her past life come knocking. So, yeah, we know her amnesia has traits and quirks to it that sometimes the amnesia will leave in some details, like her name and language, but there's also like things that she doesn't remember. Sometimes she needs to work a little bit to remember something, like with the Caladine in D1. Another thing is that I've forgotten about is none of her past life has come knocking. Nobody has come to see her. No one's like, oh my god, Tsurine, are you okay? Maybe it's Yuffie and Maves, because Yuffie and Maves did find Tsurine, and I am very interested in why. Like, Maves you can understand. Maybe Maeve saw something in Tsurine, the same thing that Jika sees. But Yuffie, why was Yuffie there? Why did Yuffie help find Tsurine that day, right? And why did Yuffie stick around? Tsurine must have been like, why is this girl spending so much of her time with me? And maybe, I mean, maybe they were just friends and they kept in contact and hung out a couple times, but yeah, it's very interesting to see, what if Yuffie or Maves is someone from Tsurine's past, but hasn't told her, It's interesting. But, yeah, none of her past life has come knocking. Very weird. Very concerning. Did she have no one? Does someone want to talk to her? Was it a collaborative effort? They said, oh, let's not talk to you while you have your amnesia. Like, we'll figure it out. Alright, Squeakers, I am back from the cut in the video. We're going to be looking at autonoxophobia. That's correct. Tsurine is unreasonably terrified of sharp or dangerous objects and gets tremors when handling them for extended periods. The doctors say it's a result of past trauma. So that's pretty cool that the doctors can tell how, why Tsurine has this phobia. And yeah, she gets tremors when handling them. We see that in the game, and it's not just sharp objects, it's also dangerous objects, which is something I honestly have forgotten as well. I assumed that because of what happens in D1 with the pill gun, but it is, unreasonable, terrifying fear of sharp or dangerous objects, which is cool and interesting. So that's why she's afraid of the pill gun and breaks down from it, and that's why she's gets all shaky when holding scalpels and shit. Dormant psychosia, here we go. Anyone who doesn't take stabilizing anti-psych medication experiences one of the many forms of psychosia when under stress. Tsurine has never neglected her meds long enough to discover the nature of her psychosia and intends to keep things that way. So yeah, nature of her psychosia. And if you combine that with the D0 first USB, sorry, wait, I'm pulling up my Discord on. I'll cut that out. Okay, sorry. If you combine this with the D0 USB, the first USB, you get Atheline's report or whatever. You learn a little bit about psychosia and that everyone has their own and it's unique to them. They have their own nature of psychosia. Now, some of you may know that I believe that Tsurine's psychosia, the nature of her psychosia, is something to do with memory. Memory loss is an obvious one, but maybe past memories coming forth, right? Like in the D1, we have the elevator coming back. Who knows? It's interesting stuff. Strange organs. Tsurine has something strange about her organs, but can't pin it down. Now that is ridiculously interesting. Like, why, why? Question mark? Like, how do you know they're strange without knowing why they're strange, right? Right. Like, it's a little odd, it's a little weird. I want to know. I need to ask you, Alaina. Alaina, what the fuck are you talking about? Why did you put this on my body record? How are her organs strange? Obviously, Tsurine has a dick. If you didn't know, well, lucky day for you, because... Sorry. Yeah, Tsurine has a dick. It's wonderful. As you can tell by the body pillow. But that's enough of that for now. Holy shit. Yeah, so Tsurine has a dick, and it's like, oh, is that the strange organ? I mean, it's not quote-unquote natural to the world of Sanatoria or something. It's not normal. But from how Liza has described, you know, transness so far is... This is something people should know about. It's a rare medical condition, basically, is probably how it's looked at. And so I don't think that's why Alaina says it's strange. And I think it would be more descriptive if it's talking about, you know, her penis. So I don't know what it's about, but yeah. Peculiar scars. Tsurine has large scars on her left wrist that spell out SST. Now what the fuck is SST? I have no idea. Super Tsurine? Super squishy Tsurine? Maybe? I don't know. Super soft tits? Maybe? I would have to ask maybe Piamat about that one. I have no idea. But I have no idea what SST means. Everyone, squeakers, pukers, I have no idea. Sorry, I am so energetic and in a eccentric mood. My whim is high and my zeal as well. So yeah, those are her traits. And speaking of whim and zeal, why don't we go look at it? Before we do though, input error, no humor. Select the humor. If a humor is selected, make sure your body record is up to date. Version 892.11. By plugging it into the nearest terminal, please contact Early Tower Resources Department if you encounter further issues. Okay, so yeah, STRD is Resource Department. And to update, you need to plug this in, click to the terminal, which kind of connects Sterling Tower Resource Department with terminals, which connects it to Providence. So Providence probably runs through both, which is cool. There we go, we got the zeal. Low zeal is mindful. Now, this video is made post-color theory, so we're going to be talking about color theory because I can't stop thinking about color theory. If you haven't seen it, it's in the Adna Discord. But the theory is basically saying, just pointing out how important the colors of Adna are. And I never realized, I knew some colors were important, but even these colors show up a lot. And they seem to have special meaning that is reflected in certain parts of the narrative, right? So when we see this red color or anything close to it, we can kind of put the meaning of high zeal equals reflexive to that object, right? Like someone with red hair or a red design might be reflexive. Same with this cyan color. The low zeal are mindful, right? Yeah, so something interesting to think about. And you can also see the images here kind of reflect. They are blue here. Sorry, not the blue. The blue, yeah, but the brain is mindful. The nerves, I believe these are nerves, are reflexive. A mindful Tsurine considers her options, gathers vital intel, and makes extensive preparations. Reflexive Tsurine, quick to seize an advantage or opportunity, and always responds with haste to those in need. Ego is this kind of fecundally color. Altruistic. Regularly tries to help others and be merciful to enemies, even if it means putting herself at risk. Now this really fits to me, fecundally, right? We're gonna get to the wards later, and we'll pull up this for color theory, but this color looks very similar to fecundally, and we know about fecundally is very, you know, like altruistic, and everyone kind of helps each other out. So yeah, and frugal would be MS. Prioritizes her and her friend's safety and well-being over others, preferring not to take unnecessary risk. And here we have, maybe this is the nervous system? I'm not really sure what that is. Oh my god, is this also a nervous system? Here we go. We've got hope and whim. Or hope, just hope in general. Patients with low hope are compassionate. Patients with high hope are inspiring. A compassionate tsurine seeks to understand and sympathize with the suffering of others, often lending them an ear. An inspiring tsurine seeks to motivate others and take a stand against injustices by taking actions. So yeah, we have inspiration and compassionate. Tsurine herself fits with this compassionate definition intensely. And her fucking whole design is purple. Her hair is purple. That's her color. And compassion, I believe, might even be used in the description of congenial ward. It's how the people are described. They are described as basically being like depressed, but the depressed gives them a lot of empathy and compassion. It is a almost like, maybe I'll pull it up in a second or something, but like it is a very close connection. And yes, inspiring, motivating others, and taking a stand against injustice. That seems to fit Daughterfly Gardens. It's yellow-ish, and it's, you know, got a lot of religion. Religion is inspiring, and people take a stand and motivate others, you know. Whim here is blue and orange. Low whim is rational, logic, puzzle-solving skills, and sound reasoning. While high whim is eccentricity. Prefers to find unconventional solutions and get the drop on opponents using unpredictability and the element of surprise. With Whim, we have Man-O-War and Natatoria. Sorry, that word's hard to say for me. I'm still learning. Please be patient with me. Natatoria. Blue is the color of its eccentricity, and that lines up with the ward and what we know about Man-O-War being weird. And then, yeah, that's everything actually. Next up we have physicality. So this stuff is a lot. I don't know if we should look at this. This doesn't really mean much to us right now before combat. So I feel like, I mean, just skimming through this, seems like we have different methods that we can use in combat and bonuses to them. We have stuffing, but currently we do not have any stuffing, so we have an error. Implants, Locum Pink 41248. Now, if we don't know if this is a version or the year, like the date the Locum Pink was made. If it was the date, and we don't know how dates are calculated, but, or like how they're portrayed, but if we take it as the American way, this would be the year 248. Which is like 20 years ago in-game. So that is considered outdated Locum Pink. Maybe. It might just be the version 41248. So Tsurine had her entire, basically, digestive system, at least the top half, replaced because of stomach acid and severe vomiting, which hasn't really come up in the story yet, you know. And it's really interesting. Why does she vomit so much? Supposedly in her past or within the last 2 years. We haven't seen her vomit much. You know, she vomits at the start of D0, which we just saw. In D1, I mean, there's that thing with the flower. It's not really vomit. It's more like she just coughs it up and there's blood as well. And then there's also the D0 elevator where the flower comes out of her mouth. Is that vomit? Not really sure what's going on with that, but it's something that I often forget, so we can keep an eye on it. So Tsurine has intensive reconstructive surgery from Alaina, Rhonda, and Ferrere. I am not saying that correctly, probably. Being able to afford the surgery was the main reason she joined Sterling. The effects are not visible. So, what the fuck was the surgery for? The effects are not visible, but a Vogue/plastic surgeon helped with the surgery. So, was that... So maybe Rhonda is the person who erased or like hid what the surgery was, right? She is a plastic surgeon. She's a Vogue surgeon. Like, she could get rid of any blemishes or scars that Tsurine had. That's probably why the surgery is not visible, right? So instead of thinking, oh, maybe the surgery is just internal, maybe the surgery can be external. It was just covered up by Rhonda, right? There's also a mutilist involved. Don't really know much about mutilists. We hear about Corley from Suli. Something about you getting put under and you wake up with salts, right? That's how she got the designer salts. But Tsurine doesn't have any salts to her knowledge. So, and it's reconstructive surgery. which implies this surgery was done when Tsurine was found, right? I don't know why I've never like connected this point, like these points together, but yeah, Tsurine must have been in really bad shape, and I think Yuffie alludes to that when she was found from the mall. So yeah, these three are the ones who put Tsurine back together, and to pay for it, she joined Sterling, which is one thing I was thinking about a lot, is why is Tsurine in Sterling, you know? She's obviously a really good girl. She is a, you know, empathetic and loving girl, right? So obviously she would want to help people, but a job where people die and she would have to kill someone, like, how'd she even end up in this position, such a stressful job, right? It was to pay off this. So does that mean she got reconstructed and then was in debt and had to go join Sterling? Or did she have a deal? Now, the deal sounds more legit, that perhaps Maves was like, hey, we can get you this surgery if you join Sterling, right? If Tsurine was able to even speak during that. Or maybe Maves set Tsurine up in some kind of deal without her being able to, like, I guess consent to it or something. I'm not sure, but you know, or there's some Jika shit going on, because Jika obviously sees something in Tsurine, so maybe Tsurine was kind of like signed up without having much of a choice, right? She either like would be binned because she can't pay for it or something, or she would join Sterling, right? Or maybe she did have the money for it, and she was just fucking broke, so she joined Sterling. It's one of those, I think. I think the one that makes the most narrative sense, I guess, would be like Maves told Tsurine to join Sterling Tower in order to pay it off, and that Maves would kind of put in a good word, maybe. Also, there's another theory that maybe Tsurine used to work at Sterling. That would make sense, I think, with her being the center of focus of Jika. Jika's, you know, special pupil, even though Tsurine hasn't really showed herself compared to other people who can, you know, kill freely. Well, they can eliminate and stuff. Tsurine can't do that stuff, right? So why the hell is she so special? There must be a reason, right? Maybe she used to work there. Maybe she looked completely different. That's why she got this surgery done. That's why she has no name, no history, no connections. She's a ghost, you know? I'm not sure. It's maybe one of those. Everyone in Sanatoria has a unique pupil shape that supposedly corresponds with their psychosia, though a spade bears much cultural and religious significance. It's yet unknown what it means regarding Tsurine's condition. Yeah, I mean, she hates religion. She really does. And it's almost to an irrational extent. I mean, we've heard characters like Yuffie and others talk about religion in a neutral or below average way, right? And Cydia in a very above average way. But Tsurine seems to have a really deep hatred for it. I remember this line in D1 where, like, there's just some advertisement about religion or something, but Tsurine, like, when you click on it again, she's like, God, I hate religion so much. And you can see her face, like, expression change, where it's almost kind of like, obviously, she has some kind of history, I think, with religion. There's a reason why she doesn't like it. Obviously, my head goes to some kind of, like, mommy trauma, of course. I mean, maybe she had a really religious mom. Maybe she was harmed by the church or something of Mary. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out. And it would line up with the spade, right? We got some new messages from Yuffie. Oh my god. I get to mention parts of my Yuffie is evil theory. Evil Yuffie. Newsday the 6th. And we're reading backwards. Let's start at the start. So this is the 4th. Okay, the 4th day. 2 days before the start of the game. Yuffie texts, there's a power outage here. Sad face. What's going on, Yuffie? Why is there a power outage? That's so strange. Why is this in the game? I feel like this is important. I really do. There's a lot of very, very subtle and hidden text about technology and Yuffie, okay? I'm telling you, look out for it. There's a lot of it. We'll come back to it later. But This is important. I swear to God, this is not just filler, like flavor text to give personality to Yuffie. Or maybe there was a power outage for another. No, like this is important. Just trust me. How often am I supposed to water a devil's IV? Now this seems to be some flavor text showing that Yuffie likes plants. We hear about this again later. She forgets to water them and stuff. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe, hold up, this is another, we got a new info from this. Is this because of Rivian? Is this why she likes plants? Is this one of Yuffie's weird things, like weird emotions make you weird do things? Is she taking care of plants because that's something she learned from Rivian? Or did they both like plants at the same time? And they, you know, have splintered off and they keep their hobby. That's really interesting. I got a sick surprise for you when we finally have lunch together. So, Meriday the 5th, it seems like she got accepted or something. Hey Tentacles, love ya, XOXO. More personality. We love you too, Yuffie. You gonna get the mat or gummy? I believe this is talking. She brings this up again when we meet her. It's about the stuffing, I believe. Good luck on your surgery tomorrow. Woo, it's gonna be so damn nice not having to worry about what you eat so much. Like, damn. So here we go. We have more information about how and such why Tsurine pukes so much that she needed surgery. Apparently has something to do with food that she can't digest or is allergic to. She vomits a bunch. Good night, love. Sweetwell, yeah, Dork. Yeah, thank you, Yuffie. I'll pick you up right by the outpatient rooms. I want to see the new stuffin'. :3. Winky 3. So yeah, we'll get to see her soon. We got Layla here. But we get to see all the way back to the 3rd. We gonna raid together. Layla's a gamer, if you didn't know. She's a gross, grimy, gunky gamer girl. The event starts in 30. Where you at? Get your booty on. So they're gaming. Bruh. She says bruh and she's fucking goofy. Bruh, that was pilled as fuck. You on tomorrow night? Good morning. Layla sent a photo. Did you see Rusha's post? She went fucking wild on the drums. Rusha is a metal break artist, I believe. I think we get more context about this. Yeah, here we go. You like metal break, right? Check out this song, Bonk from Hell. Oh my god, I forgot about Bonk from Hell. That's a old meme. Do you fuck with the gift? Thought you might enjoy it since you play a lot of puzzle games. So, we know Tsurine likes puzzle games, and Layla gave us one. That's wonderful. She says, nerd, send us a photo. I bet she's probably like sticking her tongue out or flipping us off or something. Wanna have a date tonight? We can finish the movie we started last Wednesday. So this day they watched the movie. I don't think it was the event, so maybe it was this. They watched the movie and she was like, bruh, that was pilled. So they had a whole hangout. They raided together, they got to this event, and they watched the movie. He says, you want to have a date tonight? We can finish the movie. We can start it last Wednesday. A guild date, I mean. Not coming on to you. And a sticker. I won't be on tonight, sorry. Pretty sick. Photo. I wrote a song from bed for you since you got surgery today. I put it on a CD for you to use on your disc player. Let me know what you think. Mail link is... Yeah. We'll get this later, I promise. So we know Layla can play an instrument a little bit. And a little to a lot of a bit we don't really know. And she writes little songs. And yeah, she, you know, has to deal with this sickness that we don't... I mean, we do have a little bit about it. It's the blood sickness, right? Blood and underance. I forget the full title, but we'll hear about it when we hit D1 in 50 episodes. See what Jika has to say. Hope the surgery went well and you're still on track for the job tonight. Tomorrow morning, you need to come to Surly Tower so we can discuss promotional matters. Newsday the 6th. A job tonight? Isn't today Newsday the 6th? Yeah, tomorrow morning we will come to Surly, but what are you talking about? A job tonight, Jinko. What? Yeah, no, today is Newsday the 6th. So if this is, you know, this year, and it probably definitely is, I hope you're still on track for the job tonight. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe this is something that was canceled because of the surgery. Interesting stuff, Chica. I'm not sure what that means. My camera slash is busted though. Oh, we got the notepad. So, maids was our tip. She stopped by to pick up a couple of my week's audits. Left a red diamond-shaped necklace made of carrot and corda. I thought about keeping it, but every time I put it on, it just slipped off. If you didn't know, this is an Oblivion reference. I've completed the I've cummed. Boom, impact font. No, I've completed the audit assigned to me today. Need to remember to turn in a physical copy of it since my power is out. I called Jika. She said she would meet me halfway down the honor roll track. Also, look, yeah, 5/10/68. That is how they do the date. Okay. Complete the audit assigned to me. Jika would meet me halfway down the auto rail in Mariel Suites to pick it up. So I guess the 5th of Meriday, Jika was in MS? Interesting. Yeah, that's new information. I wonder if that'll come up later, because I wouldn't be surprised if Liza has a whole fucking timeline and there's a whole bunch of shit going on right now this week during in the game. So Jika had some kind of job in MS. Which is what we're doing in D2. Like, well, that's where we're going. Going in for surgery tomorrow at Lena's. Replace my intestines with stuffing. She ordered and prepared my locum pink days in advance. It's gonna be super early. I'll be heading to bed soon. So late, or Liza, or fuck, holy shit. Tsurine went to bed early yesterday. No photos yet. Wallpapers. Fucking Guardian Angel Cat by Catvan. Lovely, lovely. And that is the phone. That is all the stuff. And I think I'm gonna end it there. And next episode we will enter CW proper, and it'll be a blast. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for enjoying, hopefully, all the yap. If you have anything you want to point out, let me know in the comments or something. If you want me to check out anything, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.